Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Single Parents Podcast, the show that is far from traditional. If you end up enjoying what you see and liking what you hear, consider subscribing to the podcast, sharing the podcast with a friend, and rating the podcast 5 stars on your favorite podcast hosting platforms. That way, we can tell those algorithms out there that the show is legit, and it will pass it along to more people.
Hey, you hot SPP listeners. I think it's time to treat yourself to something nice. After a long day of work, one of my favorite ways to wind down is to have myself a crisp glass of wine. Whether you're on the market to send a gift to someone or starting your wine tasting journey, buywinesonline.com has you covered. With over 5,000 options, you're sure to find a wine that fits your taste. And of course, we scored a discount for our hot SPP listeners. Go to buywinesonline.com and use code SPP10 at checkout for 10% off your order. Again, that's buywinesonline.com and use code SPP10 for 10% off. Link will be in the description. Hey, podcast listeners. I'm so glad you're here because today is a very, very sad but special episode. It is going to be the end of an era and the start of something new. Anthony, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling very nostalgic because, as you alluded to, today's a very bittersweet episode. To not bury the lead, this is our season finale. We're getting ready to wrap it up before we take a little break and head into 2026, and we'll talk more about all that here in a moment. But as I was thinking about the fact that this is our last episode of the year, I just went back and I just thought about the year in itself. And like I said, it just brought up a lot of nostalgia, brought up a lot of proudness in myself because I feel like I did a lot of cool stuff this year. And ultimately, I'm just excited. I'm super excited for a brand new year. So a lot of mixed emotions, but all positive, I would say.
Oh, I love that. It is really bittersweet. I feel like we've come so far together as a unit. Like I know that you started all of this and I just kind of hopped on the bandwagon, but now we're this team together.
Yeah.
And with the podcast growing with the way it is, if anybody is following us on our socials, as you should be,
Yes, you should.
you would see that we are actually making marks with this podcast. And I'm so thankful for, the following that we're gaining, the listeners that we're gaining. It's so great. I'm so glad that we have this like special sense of community amongst all of us.
I agree. And since you brought it up, I'm sorry just to get into this, but this seems like a perfect segue because I'm so excited to talk about this. So, as many of you have known because you experience getting to post your own year-end response to your own Spotify Wrapped. But just in case you don't know, so Spotify, the music podcast hosting media platform juggernaut that it is, if you're not using it, every single year, I guess around this time of the year, they release what they call Spotify Wrapped. And basically, they just go through your whole listening profile throughout the year and they tell you this is how much you listen to this artist. This was your top artist. Here's the genres you were most into. It just gives you a breakdown of what your year looked like on the platform. When you're a creator who submits content to Spotify, they also give a Spotify Wrapped breakdown for creators so they can look back at their analytics from the past year and see how, in our case, how their podcasts grew or maybe didn't grow, and just some pieces of insight. So I got the email, I guess that would have been Wednesday, about a week ago, actually. Yeah. So a week ago, I got the email when I woke up that day and it just said, hey, Spotify Creator Wrapped is now here. Go ahead and open it and look and just see how your show did. and I held off for a little bit because I had to take my girls to school and get them all situated. But I was just honestly stalling because I was nervous because I was like, it would suck to put in all this work, to do all this stuff with Jessica, to kind of reformat the whole show, all the stuff that it took to make the show in 2025. It would suck to open up that Spotify Wrapped breakdown and see like negative numbers or drop in listenership or just something that would just tell me, hey, either you plateaued or you're going backwards. And I was just like, I'm nervous just to open that. Thankfully, when I finally got the guts to open it, I saw some pretty amazing things. First big thing I want to celebrate is I'm just going to share all these, Jessica, and then I'll give you the floor to kind of share your thoughts and reactions to all this.
Got
Because
it.
I'm pumped. All right. So the first big thing we have to celebrate is that the Single Parents podcast was in the top 25% of videos on Spotify. Huge, because Spotify is not some rinky-dink startup company that only, has a few things on the platform. Spotify's huge, like probably one of the biggest streaming platforms on anywhere, on your phone, wherever, especially when it comes to music and podcasts. So for us to be in the top 25%, I'll take it. I'm pretty pumped. We're obviously United States is our big number one demographic when it comes to countries who listen to us. But we also get listeners in India. What's up? Taiwan. How's it going? The UK. We have some friends in the UK in particular. Shout out to our friends at the Royal Institute in London. We did some episodes with you earlier this year. Shout out UK. And then good eye, mate, Australia. How's it going? We getting some listeners down under. So that's pretty sweet. When it comes to growth as a show, we grew by 19% in 2025 when it comes to the total overall audience of the show. So pretty cool to see about a 20% growth in the show. But when it comes to bringing in new audience members, we had about a 1,000% increase in new listeners finding the show in 2025 compared to 2024. About 999% to be exact. So 1% off of having a 1000% new listener growth in 2025. That's crazy. And then we grew in followers, people who subscribe on Spotify, by 39%. And this is just Spotify, by the way. This is just one platform. We distribute our podcast to other podcast hosting platforms and YouTube. So the numbers could be more if we just calculated everything, but for just Spotify, growth. And then a couple little fun facts they gave. They said fans listen to our show for longer than 81% of other shows. So thank you for putting on the show, not turning it off after 5 minutes, actually listening to it. I know, I'll just, for myself, I know I tend to yap like I do, right? I'm doing right now. I tend to yap, but so thank you for not letting my yap turn you off. We received more shares than 76% of other shows. So thank you for sharing the podcast with anybody who could benefit from being a part of this community. You guys are awesome. And then lastly, our average rating for the show was higher than 64% of other shows. So thank you for rating the show 5 stars, the highest rating possible. It's just such great stuff. So all that to say, I was pumped when I broke those numbers down, or looked at those numbers, looked at the breakdown, saw that we were doing okay. I shared it with Jessica. So I shared that with you, Jessica, I think sometime shortly after I opened that on Wednesday. What was your reaction to seeing that? What is your thoughts on those Spotify Wrapped numbers?
Well, first of all, on my phone, I saw that I had a zillion notifications from you, a
Yeah.
bunch of text messages, and I was like, "Oh my God, should I be concerned?" And then I
Oh,
saw that it was a bunch of screenshots
okay.
of the data and
Yep.
whatnot. And it's because I have never done anything like this before, so
Mhm.
it's totally something new. I'm usually I understand the stuff on TikTok or with dance and stuff, I'm on an
Yeah.
actual stage. And so you
Mhm.
know how many people are in the audience, you know how many tickets are sold and whatever. And so with this, I don't really know how any of it works. All I know is that I'm very much enjoying myself.
Nice.
So When I saw that we were in the top 25%, I was like, "Wait a second. That's, like, really fucking good."
Mm-hmm.
I was shooketh. What a huge milestone because there are so many people that start podcasts and, like, things, like,
Yes.
fall through and whatever. I don't know, they probably have, like, 1 or 2 people listening to them, and it's probably
Mm-hmm.
their parents, but luckily for us, we have many, many more
True.
listeners for the podcast. It's so surreal, and, it's Thanksgiving is over and the next holiday season is upon us, and I'm just in this era of feeling super
Mm-hmm.
thankful and happy about everything that we have accomplished this year together and the community that we're building with the listeners. Like, I think it's so fun to interact with people in the comments and talk to them or when they send us messages or emails. Like, I think that that's just, it's great. It honestly kind of makes me feel like I'm famous a little bit, even
Mm-hmm.
though I know I'm not. Um, in my mind, I just play it off like I'm a famous gal and, I should have my own TV show, and that's just how I feel. Like, one day, after we have found even more success with the
Yeah.
Single Parents Podcast, we are going to start a show that
Ooh,
involves single parents. I just feel like
I like that idea.
these are goals for the next couple years. I don't know, I'm just, like, saying things, but
Oh, so you're like Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, reality show
Yes.
vibes. We should do a
Yes.
Secret Lives of Single Parent Lives. Something like
Yeah,
that.
no,
That would be
I just
sick.
it would. And also, like, those mom talk girlies, like, who
Yep.
would have thought that they ever got their
Exactly,
own,
yeah.
like, spin-off show
Right.
on
Mm-hmm.
Hulu? Like, you never
You never
knew
know.
that something like that was gonna happen, and I feel like there are great things coming to us in the
Yep.
future, and I know that when I edit my vision board for next year, um, that stuff about the podcast is definitely gonna be on there because when I made my vision board last year, I didn't really know that I was gonna be on the podcast. Like, I hadn't
Oh,
even been
true.
on, like, the first episode and
Yeah.
stuff. So, I had a lot of stuff on my vision board that had to do with, like, social media and stuff like that. So I guess it's all kind of related, but now I get to specifically plan for the podcast. But anyway, I am also yapping and going on a tangent, but with the data, I was super duper excited about it. I'm so happy with all the growth, and honestly, like, we couldn't do it without all of our
True.
listeners. That's, like, who
Yes.
I mean, thank you to us, and thank you to you and doing the editing and working so hard, but also thank you to our
Mm-hmm.
listeners
Yep.
listening longer than 5 minutes. You guys are the GOAT.
Mm, I agree. I think what's humbling about those stats that I had to like reflect on and kind of I really appreciate is that it's easy to like look at those numbers, look at those percentages and be like, wow, like it's just a cool like little chart, a little graphic. But each one of those data points reflects a real person, right? Like a real mom or a real dad or just a real human being who decided to take some time out of their day. I mean, especially if they're single parents listening, like assuming like a super busy day to sit and to invite us, me and you, Jessica, into their homes and spend time with us every single week. And that is just, like I said, it's humbling and it makes me very grateful because, like I said, it's easy to look at the numbers and just get caught up in the hype and like, all right, yeah, we're going to the moon, sky's the limit, let's do this, let's do that, let's make all the money, let's blah, blah. But like, reflecting on the fact that, you know what, there truly are people out there who have spent time with us and hopefully have been encouraged by us, who have realized that they're not alone in just the reality of our demographic or just by certain stories that we've shared. Hopefully they're able to see that there's people who can actually relate to different things and feelings and emotions. Hopefully we made some people laugh. Hopefully we made some people just realize that they're not messed up or damaged goods or any of the other things that society wants to label single parents as. I echo what you just said. Like, thank you, listeners. Thank you, hot SPs, for just joining us, for being a part of the journey. It's been great. It's been really great. I've been doing a lot of like, I don't know, studying's the right word, but watching a lot of like podcast coaching videos, like of people who supposedly know how to like make podcasts grow, be super successful. So they give you all like their little tips and inside tricks and all that. And I actually shared one of the videos I watched, a portion of it I shared with Jessica. And correct me if I'm wrong on this number, but I believe he said that 90% of podcasts that start don't make it past episode 4. Is that what he said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I heard that and I was just like, whoa, like it was like kind of shocking, but then not really when I actually thought about it, because I have like friends and people in my community who have started podcasts or started stuff like this. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, they didn't make it too far in that whole venture. Like maybe they did. I think maybe I'd be generous to say the people I know, 3 episodes, maybe they got that far and then just kind of gave it up. And I was kind of a bummer because I was like, oh, cool, that's what I do. So maybe we could have like a little like community of content creator podcasters here that we could bounce ideas off of and talk through things with. And then they just gave up. So it's humbling to think about the fact that of all like the hard work that it takes to make a podcast. I mean, that's why people give up, because I'm just going to be blunt. Like it's hard. It's a lot of work and costs some money, and mostly time is the hard part to prepare an episode, to record an episode, then to edit an episode, then to distribute your episode, and then to promote your episode on social media. Like those 5 things, you got to do all that. And then once you think you're done, you look at your calendar and you're like, oh crap, I got to start that whole process over again because next week's episode, we got to record that in like 2 days. So it's a lot. And I get why people kind of bail, but for all the hard work that it took for us to have put in enough of that hard work to where we even have data like that from Spotify to feedback to us, it's just, I'm thankful. I'm thankful during the hard times. We didn't quit. We didn't give up. Because like I said, ultimately my big motivation is the reminder that each one of those numbers reflects real people. So as long as there's real people out there to encourage, we're going to keep it up. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep
Yeah.
marching on. 2026, baby.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, like you said that it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And like Barbie Jean says, she says that time is money.
Sure.
And so I feel like a lot of people invest so much time and they want to see this outcome of like huge success right off the bat. So they're like, oh my gosh, I am going to have hundreds of listeners right away. And I feel like every platform is a little bit different. Um, TikTok, you put a TikTok video out and you get like bare minimum 100 views.
Yeah.
And then you get more, and then you get 200, 300, sometimes you get to 1,000, sometimes you get to 10,000. You kind of like never know what's going to happen. But with a podcast, like you pretty much put it out and it ends up being like, a couple listeners or viewers at first, and then it turns into something much bigger, which is like the journey that we're on right now.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people don't make it. I do also personally know people that have podcasts and they've stopped doing it, or they haven't found much success because there's so many moving parts that go along with making a podcast. It is doing the filming each week. It is doing the editing, which God bless you, you're the one that does the editing. It's the posting on social media. It's the promoting. It's talking. It's talking to your listeners and your followers. It's answering emails. It's talking with brands that want to collaborate. It's all those things. So it's not always easy, but I'm so thankful that we've like made it as far as we have in just a year. Like we really, what do they say? Like leaps and bounds or something like that. I don't even know.
It's
what does
true.
that say?
It leaps and bounds, right? Leaps and bounds.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what we've been doing. We've been making big strides. So I'm all the big emotions, but I guess a couple questions for you, as this isn't just a reflection of the podcast year that has been, but this is also the last episode we're doing where we're hanging out with the people before our own personal 2025s come to an end. Like when this episode comes out, there's still a couple more weeks left in December, but we won't actually talk to you all, the listeners, until January. Jessica, for you, I want to know, as you reflect back on 2025, what are some, maybe big things that you learned, some big life lessons? Like, what do you think is going to be your big takeaway from 2025 as far as personal growth? And then we mentioned your vision board. So can you give us like some little sneak peeks as to what you're looking forward to when it comes to 2026?
Okay. Well, I feel like there's so many aspects I could like talk about. I don't know. I need to give myself a pat on the back for just a second. I
Okay.
feel like I've grown in so many ways, as like everybody
Mhm.
has.
Yeah.
And I feel like people don't always recognize those things, but I was talking with somebody yesterday
Hmm.
and we were talking about work and I was like, it's just, it's been so hard, but I think about like how busy I was last year around this season, and I have honestly made so much growth. Last year I feel like I was really frantic. I wasn't really sure how to make decisions and um I don't know, anything that comes to like finances with business and stuff like that. I
Hmm.
I didn't really know. And I wasn't educated enough,
Okay.
but you learn by doing.
Hmm.
So this year, I mean, it still kind of sucks because we're super busy, but I feel so much less like anxiety and I feel so
Okay.
much more chill when I'm at work because I can just make decisions. Like I will say, yes, I'm going to get this. No,
Hmm.
I'm not going to do this deal. Or like,
Yeah.
whatever it is. I feel like I've made so much growth within the past year with work and I'm super proud of myself for that. I also really am proud of myself for the amount of growth that I made just as a mom.
Hmm.
Um, I used to struggle a lot last year with spending time away from my son or asking people for help or getting a babysitter and things like that. I don't know if I ever talked about this on the podcast, but I felt a lot of mom guilt thinking I chose this life of being a single mom and not having a partner to help me raise my son. So I took a lot of responsibility of thinking that I needed to be with him at all times and I shouldn't be taking time off and I shouldn't be doing things for myself. And within the past year, I've grown so much with figuring out how to manage still taking time for myself, but also having special moments with my son.
Hmm.
Um, I switched the gym that I went to. They have like childcare there. So I get to spend all this time driving to and from the gym, and I'm literally just away from him for like an hour, hour and a half when he's playing. And he honestly has the best time ever there. I've grown with fitness goals.
Hmm.
The podcast has grown. Social media, I feel like I learned so much about social media within the past year because
Nice.
this year was the year that I started to take it more seriously. Um, and although like views don't always reflect it, anybody who's trying to do social media, if you're listening to this is some really great advice. You're always going to be wanting to go viral and hit the high numbers and gain lots of followers,
Hmm.
which is great. But what's also really important is to remember to make like good content that people can relate to and they want to feel like they know you and they can connect with you.
Yeah.
Um, so a lot of the times, like people will say you need to be posting 5 times a day, and I was like, well, that's not flipping realistic to me. I don't even know. I don't know what to post 5 times a day. Um, I just post maybe once a day. I don't even post every day. Like before, I was like really consistently
Sure.
posting every day. And now I kind of just post whenever I feel like it because I don't want to force something and I want to be
Hmm.
authentic. And something that I had a goal for this year was I wanted to start working with brands. I wanted to start creating videos. I wanted to start getting PR. And those were things that I genuinely started to get this year. And it wasn't because I had like a crazy following or I was getting incredible views or incredible engagement. It was just because these brands like truly felt like maybe they really, I don't know if they I don't know, it's, like, weird. I think about it and I'm like, "Wow, what do they really see in me that they want to work with me?" Maybe they like my style of content. Maybe they like the way that I talk, the way that I look. They like the message that I have, like, all these things, and I've worked with a decent bit of brands this year, which is super exciting to me, and I'm also excited because now we can start doing that for the podcast now
True.
that I've learned so much. Um, so we're starting to get these brand deals with the podcast, which is super exciting, and I hope those things continue. If anybody from a brand is listening right now and you feel like you want to chat with us, go ahead because um, we got a loyal fan base.
Hmm.
So those are just all of the things from this year. I've grown so much and I feel like I don't always like take a second to look at it. So I'm really glad that you asked me that because I get to give myself a little pat on the back to be
Yeah.
like, damn, you are doing such a good freaking job. And when I think about my vision board for next year, um, I feel like I had a lot of stuff on my vision board this year that had to do with content creation. It has traveling stuff, it has like love and relationship stuff, it had stuff with friends, it had stuff about health and working out. And those are all things that like I've really grown in and I've found and I'm so excited to be checking those things off my vision board. And so next year my vision board is going to look different probably. Hmm, I don't know. What do I expose? I
Oh,
feel like my vision board for next year would probably have things to do with still social media,
okay.
still traveling, still friends, still the gym stuff, family stuff, um yeah, and stuff with the podcast. I think that's really what is going to happen. I think, like, I wanna do a lot of stuff with the podcast and a lot of
Hmm.
stuff with social media, so I want that to be the bulk of it, um, because I've already been doing so well with so many other things, so it could take up a majority of my vision board. So that's just kinda my thoughts. I
Nice.
haven't really thought it through fully.
Yeah.
I need to, like, sit down and actually look through pictures and quotes and stuff. I could give you a little tutorial on how to do a vision
Oh,
board. One of my friends actually taught me how to do it. Like,
okay.
I don't even know if she ever listens to this podcast, but maybe we could clip this part, and if we post it on social media, hopefully she sees it and she'll know that I'm talking about her. This is a friend that I don't always see too often, but this friend is probably the most inspirational and positive person that I know, and she told me how I needed to like manifest this new life for myself and I needed to be writing these things down and I need to like truly envision myself doing these things. But it has to be like super specific with numbers and
Okay.
times and you have to put these in a spot where you're going to see them all the time. And she talks about her vision board and how she like checks things off and she's like anything that I've ever wanted in this life I've gotten, and I'm like,
Whoa.
damn girl, I want that
Sheesh.
to be me. God bless her. I think she's amazing, and she's, like, really, like, what put me on this journey, and she probably
Okay.
doesn't even know it, because I don't talk to her too often, but she's the person that put me on this journey of, like, manifesting these things for myself and reminding myself what the goals are and all of the things, and now that I'm ranting, you tell me about you.
No, that was good. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Those are good stuff.
Yeah, so inspirational. Tell me about you and all of your successes. You need to give yourself a pat on the back as well.
All right,
In
I'll
what
do it. I can't
areas
wait.
do you feel, because you may not think about it. You really need to think about, like,
Yeah.
what can you be proud of this year because you did make growth? Like, you might not, like, see it, but you'd be like, "Wait, damn,
True.
maybe I did lose those couple pounds. Maybe I did start vacuuming every week. Like, maybe I did start meal prepping." Like, all those
Yeah.
things, and you don't think about it, but now's the time for you to recognize also all those great things that you did throughout the year, and then you get to plan for next year. Go.
True. Facts, 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 straight facts. So I think I'm very proud because the beginning of this year, I took a couple of trips. So it was nice to get out of town because I think I've shared this before, but I live like in like a little smallish town slash city, and it's very easy for your whole world to be just this area just this city, just this community. They call it like it's like a bubble basically. So like it'd be very easy to say, oh yeah, I'll get out and I'll go to the beach, or I'll go across the country, or I'll go do this and do that, and then next thing you know, 3 months have gone by, 3 years have gone by, a couple decades have gone by, and there's people who just always yapped about it and never ever did it, and they just never left this town. And so like I've always told myself, like for myself and for my kids, like no, as long as we have to live here because of co-parenting stuff, we're going to take advantage of the fact that the world is big, and we're going to go out and we're going to see as much of it as possible. So I'm thankful that I, for myself, because I wanted to do that for myself, because you're talking about like mom guilt. My guilt kind of played a part. I think I talked about this last year. Yeah, I did. Right before my cruise, I talked about, actually, maybe even on my cruise during that episode I recorded on the cruise ship. You guys can go back and watch that. I think it's called Podcasts on a Cruise Ship. But basically, I talked about the fact that it was hard for me to go on that trip solo without my kids because of guilt, right? Like you want them to get out and to do blah, blah, blah. But I just knew it was important for me because I had the opportunity to go, just to go and not to overthink it, not to get like, well, I'll go and I can bring the girls, or I'll do this and I'll just wait a little bit. Cause like I said, then 3 years turns into 3 decades and you don't do anything. So I'm glad I just finally said, no, what? Like I'm going to just make myself a priority just for this 1 week. I'm going to take myself on a vacation. And I went to freaking Mexico for a week and it was bomb. So I'm thankful I did that. And then that plays a part into my 2026. My goal for that year is to continue doing those travels, but now that I did it for myself, bring my girls, and so we have like another cruise planned, probably in the spring that I'm excited to take them on, and maybe some other stuff. So traveling for sure. Glad I did that. Glad I didn't just talk the talk, but I walk the walk. Stuff for the podcast, like I'm thankful that. So one thing that always just gets me through the day, especially when I'm stressed out, is like what I'll do before I go to bed, and like maybe I'm overthinking like what's going to happen tomorrow and how I'm going to figure this out, and next month I need to do this and this. What I'll do is I'll sit and I'll reflect on my day or my week or whatever, and I'll think about things that happened that were pretty cool that I didn't plan for. They're just stuff that happened that I didn't expect because life's unpredictable, and sometimes cool stuff that has cool stuff happens. So when I stress about the future, I'm just like, hey, you didn't expect XYZ to happen today, and it did. So you can't stress about tomorrow because you never know what's going to come up. I could walk out. I could get hit by a Pepsi truck. I could win a big lawsuit settlement from them, and I could be set the rest of my life. Like, you just never know. And so I was thinking about that, though, for the podcast. I was like, probably the beginning of summer-ish, or before I started talking to you, I was just like, man, like I really believe in the show, but I just don't know. Something's missing. I want to take it in a certain direction, but I can't just do it by myself. I tried to bring other hosts in. They just didn't really stick around. What's going on? And then out of nowhere on TikTok one day, there's Jessica Doritos' name popped up, and the rest is history. And so like I was just thinking about the fact that was just one of those things. Like I think you had said it, like 2024, the end of 2024. Didn't plan on meeting you, didn't plan on having you come in as a co-host of the show, didn't plan on all this. It just happened one day, and then one thing led to another, and then here we are. And I just love that about life. I love that about this. That's one thing I could look back on this year and reflect on and just be like, I didn't know I was going to meet Jessica, and we were going to totally blow this thing up.
Yeah, we're popping off. Fish out.
It happened. So looking forward to 2026. I'm just excited for some of those unknown things, like those cool unknown factors that I would love to sit and like maybe predict and plan for, but you just never know. So I love that about life, the fact that you can plan for things, you can have a vision board, you can have a budget, and you can have a checklist and a spreadsheet, and you can do all the planning you want, but life's just gonna life. And so sometimes the exciting part of getting the opportunity to wake up every day is getting to see like, oh, I wonder what cool stuff goes down today that I don't even know about. I wonder who I'm gonna meet, or I wonder what opportunity is gonna come knocking on my door. And my last thing, I'm just super thankful that I really grew in 2025 was just the fact that I just learned to not really care like as much about what people think about me or the things that I do. Like I just have learned, especially even with like dating stuff, like it's just been so easy in 2025. Probably the easiest I've ever had it. Just to say, okay, cool, that didn't work out, or that person just didn't want to pursue a relationship with me, or it just kind of fizzled, and not to sit and dwell on it and pull out my phone and be like, well, I can make it work, or what did I do, or let me read through my text and see where I went wrong. I just be like, all right, next, like Ariana Grande, much like thank you, next. I think she sings that song, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was listening to one creator, one of my all-time favorite creators, and they were doing like this comedy.
Wait, who is it?
His name is Eric Striffler. Shout out Eric Striffler. I met him in Vegas last year.
Oh,
He has a movie commentary channel on YouTube called Pretty Much It. It's the funniest thing in the world. It's so funny. But he went on a podcast as a guest, and they do like this, I don't know, quarterly like episode where him and two other guys go on as like bachelors, and then the host will call girls who write into the show, and they'll do like bachelor improv games to see like which one of the callers matches which one of the guests. But Eric said something awesome. I think this is my vibe. They were talking about like an improv scenario where something, it was like, this might be a little crass, but something with like diarrhea or something crazy and gross that you just had to like get up from the date and like book it out of there, and like how you would handle that situation. And so the other guys would just be like, oh, well, I would just kind of play it off and maybe like come up with an excuse to get out and blah, blah, blah. And they were just going back and forth. And Eric, this probably be my attitude. He'd just be like, I would just tell the girl like, bro, I ate something earlier and my guts are bubbling and I'm going to have some bad diarrhea in a second. I got to go. And they like looked at him and like, no, that's so weird. Why would you just say that? And he was like, okay, so I say that and she doesn't talk to me ever again. She's not my person. Who cares? Who gives a crap? Like my person's going to think that's hilarious. And then we're going to get together the next time we go on a date and we're going to laugh about it. And then on our wedding, we're going to laugh about it. Like, oh, our first date, I had to leave because I had diarrhea. You remember that? Like, blah, blah. Like, so he was just like, okay, is she shames you and ghosts you because you had diarrhea? Like, who cares? She's not your person. And so anyways, like that's just been my attitude the whole year, and I love it. It's so freeing. It's so a lot less stressful just to have that. Okay, who cares? Who gives a crap? Next. And anyways, like that's been nice. So anyways, that's my Anthony's personal 2025 wrapped.
no, I love that. You do need to give yourself a pat on the back because I mean,
yes.
you've accomplished so much.
Yeah.
And there's just going to be more growth that happens. And like it might seem like it's like not huge growth, but um I don't know, it can make big differences in your life. Like you not caring so much like in certain situations, like the chill vibes that you need.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I just feel like that's, like, such a good thing. It's
Hmm.
gonna help you not have wrinkles earlier. I'm just saying, like, these are good things that
True.
you
True.
might not notice it now, like, you don't need, like, the Botox or anything that all the girlies are getting because, like, you're not stressed because you just feel like chill vibes. And also,
It's
like
funny that you
yeah.
mentioned that because as I get older, so for people who don't know, I'm 35, going to be 36 next month. Oh, holy crap, next month.
Yeah, 36 years young.
But it's funny, little humble brag. And I want to keep this. So thank you for reminding me. This is why I want to live this lifestyle. I just remember back in the day, growing up with certain people, especially high school, maybe in their 20s for sure. Certain people would just have the looks, right? Like they had like the beautiful face, the chiseled body, especially the face, and everybody would want them. And I would spend my time comparing myself to that person, and oh, I wish I looked like him. Like all the girls like him, and his pictures look like get so many likes. And then now that all those same people are they're my age, so they're all in their mid 30s to early 40s as well. They just they definitely have aged, and so I'm
Yeah.
proud that I can show up and I still have people, like, oh, how old are you? You have to be like 20 something because you know what they say, black don't crack. So I got that baby face, baby, and then I see those people who I used to compare myself, and they're balding and they're wrinkly, and it's just like, oh, okay. So I'm gonna keep my chill vibes. I'm gonna keep my persona that I have, and again, in 15 more years, hopefully, I'll still be looking fresh, and all those other people who I used to compare myself to will just, just it'll just keep getting rough for them, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's for sure what's gonna end up happening. I love when I see on Facebook, like, the people that I went to high school with,
Yeah.
and it's, like, somebody that I was jealous of. Like,
Yes.
at some point, I'm like, "Oh, fuck, they have the nicest hair, they have the nicest skin," or like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god, she's so pretty, she's so skinny," like, all those things. And I see their pictures on Facebook now, and, like,
Hmm.
not to be a bitch, but also to be a bitch, I'm like, damn, it really went downhill after, high
Yeah.
school, didn't it? Like, they, like,
Yeah.
go to college and, like, they just don't take care of themselves or, like, I don't even know, they just, like, don't look good anymore, and I'm like, "Shit, I'm still rocking it a even after
Hmm.
having a kid," like,
That's right.
"Alright, I'm a single mom now, but do I look good?"
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
it's like I love seeing it on Facebook. It's like, I don't know. It makes me feel better about myself. And you know what, ladies? Don't compare yourself to others.
True.
Just
Facts.
don't do it.
Facts.
It's not healthy. Take it from me. Don't compare yourself to others unless you look better than them. So
Ooh,
that's
I
it.
like that. I like that for sure. For sure. That's right. And you know what? I found that I do that more, especially as I'm older now, and like looking at not even just looks, but just like life, because you're told, first of all, that like growing up, like watching Disney movies and just the social norms, like you just gotta get to this certain spot in this life and get married and have 2.5 kids and have a dog and have a fence, because that's
2.5. What's
that's what they
2.5
say.
kids?
I've never understood what the point 5 is either, but that's what the statistics come out to. Like you're supposed to
Okay.
have a boy, a girl, and then a third for that's some random
A
thing,
baby.
whatever, a baby. Maybe that's the point 5. And then you have all the stuff, and then so everybody's striving for, and there's nothing wrong with getting all that. Like I had all that once. Like I know a lot of happy people who have all that, so I'm not shaming that. But what I'm saying is, like, a lot of people I know, that was what their whole thing was about, is getting that, and then they got it maybe early mid 20s, and then now 10 years later, like, sure, maybe on Facebook and Instagram they try to like present themselves in a certain way, but like I'll really talk to them or run into them at, at like a bar or birthday party, and I'm just like, hey man, so you how's life, how's the wife, the kids, and they're just like, bro, can't do it, depressed, or like they're just
Oh my god, you
miserable.
said that
And I've told this,
before.
like I told this before, like
Yes.
because in my community especially, it's very easy to make like good money at our industry in my town, because we're like a gold mine industry. So it's not uncommon for young 20-year-olds to go in, get like a high paying job, get married, get the house, get a four-wheeler, get a boat, get this, get that, have kids,
Wow.
and then they're miserable. And then they're just like, well, how's life? I'll ask them like, well, what are you up to? Like, same thing we've been doing. Like, what are you looking forward to? 2026 coming
Right.
up, bro. Like, what's up? I don't know, man. Driving the haul truck at the gold mines, and kids got soccer, and you know we're doing this, and maybe the highlight is a date night 3 months away with their wife. I don't know, and
3 months? Oh
that's
my gosh.
it's
I would hate that.
so that's why I'm
3
just like,
months?
I like think about that, because there'll be times where I'll feel down, or I have, again this year not so much, but I have felt down that I don't have all that, and I'll be like, well, maybe I'm a failure, but then they'll talk about that reality, and then I'll be like, well, I'm thankful, honestly, that
Yeah.
in my context I can still strive for whatever I want to strive for, right? Like I have kids, I have responsibilities, but if I want to travel, like I can still make it happen. If I want to build a podcast and start a podcast business, I have the ability to do that. I think one of my biggest fears in life is not even failure, because I've hit failure. I've hit like rock bottom. I need to like tell like my actual like story of rock bottom sometimes on this podcast. Because I've hit rock bottom. So like I'm not scared of failure because I know I've been there and I know I can build myself up and get out of that. So that really doesn't scare me. But what does scare me is, maybe I kind of alluded to it already, is being in the exact same space, same place, being stagnant. I think that's the word.
Stagnant.
Being stagnant. So 2-3 years from now, looking back, kind of doing a recap of life like we just did, and not being able to name one thing that really changed, that was really some ambition I strived for, even if it did fail. Like I'd rather say, hey, last year I started this business, or I took this swing, or I went on this trip and it totally bombed and it didn't work out. I'd rather say that than look back and be like, I didn't do anything. I went to work, I came home, I watched Netflix, I went to bed. I went to work, I came home, watched Netflix, went to bed. And then the next year, same thing. The next year, like that life terrifies me. So so that's just for me. If people like, they enjoy that type of life, they enjoy that type of consistency, I guess you could say, they like just driving their truck, coming home and going to bed and dating their wife, like that's fine. But for me, I don't know. So, I don't know. So I'm thankful that even though my reality might be unconventional, that I still have this space to say, what do I want to do 2026? Let me make my vision board and let me go for it. So I hope that made sense.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. I feel like there definitely are some people that are just okay with their
Yeah.
same old routine and it makes them happy and they feel good and they're thriving in that. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing is like everybody has their own, like it's subjective, what it means to thrive. So for some people, thriving would be like just, yeah, I come home, my
Mm-hmm.
wife has dinner, the kids are taken care of, and I'm exhausted from work and we
Yeah.
all watch TV together and we go to bed and I wake up and we do it all again the next day. Like
Mm-hmm.
some people are fine with that. But also for me personally, I feel like I have a lot of ambitions and,
Yeah.
plans to find lots of success and travel and I mean, just all of the things. Like I have lots of plans for Grayson and I as he gets older. Um, and I feel great about that. And I just know that like I've already made such like great changes and success when it comes to Grayson and I's life thus far in his 2.5 years of being out the womb, I guess we could say. But like I have already like done some great things for him and his future
Nice.
and I plan to do so much more and share it with someone and I'm like super excited and happy about all those things. Yay. I
Yeah,
love that.
it's gonna be good. It's gonna be so fire. So a little bit of housekeeping, little bit of just programming notes that you, the listeners, can kind of just jot down. So as we've said 1,000 times, this is the last episode of the 2025 season. So we're gonna go and we're gonna end 2025 with the bang, with our friends and family, doing all the usual holiday stuff. But then early January, Jessica is, speaking of traveling. Oh yeah, you're already doing it in January. She's going
Yeah.
to Japan. We said this last week.
Yes. I feel like we
Yeah,
say it all the time, but it's
'cause it's
just
so
because I'm
cool.
so excited about it.
It's so cool. So we're gonna plan around releasing the first new episode of the 2026 season, obviously around her trip. So we're still figuring out some of those details. So I would just say, number one, obviously make sure you're subscribed to the podcast on your favorite platform, YouTube, all the things, because once you're subscribed, you'll be notified when we do start posting our new season in 2026. But as Jessica just said earlier, look to our socials, follow our socials, do all the things on our socials, because we'll obviously start letting you guys know when the party's going to start back in 2026, once we have that date. In the meantime, what I like to do is just highlight any single parent creators out there, especially on Instagram. There's a lot of really great single parent creators who post funny stuff. So during like our downtime when we're not putting out new podcast episodes and new clips, I like to share other people's stuff. So if you, or especially even you, Jessica, like anybody, you come across somebody that's maybe a single parent that we can give a little love to and share their stuff, send it to us and we'll share it with on our account. So
Yeah.
anything else you got before we wrap it up?
Yeah, my only thing, exactly what you said, although we're not going to be active on the podcast for the next month, we will be active on the socials,
Yeah.
on our TikTok and Instagram and stuff. So it's important that you guys follow us because we'll be still hanging out with you there, replying to comments,
True.
making videos, whatever, being our goofy selves. But we just won't be on the podcast, and obviously we'll let you know when we'll be back and live on the podcast. So I hope everybody has like the best New Year's and
Yes.
holiday with their families. Enjoy it with your kids, and if you don't have kids, enjoy it with your lovers. If you don't have a lover, then enjoy it with yourself.
That's right. Nothing
Do
wrong
something
with that.
nice for yourself. You
Do it.
deserve it.
Treat yourself. Do it.
That's right.
The year's not over. You still have, if you've been listening to this podcast and you're like, crap, Anthony and Jessica's 2025 was so lit. They did all this cool stuff. Like, I look back on my 2025, I didn't do anything. You still got time. There's still a couple weeks left. It's not over. Get out there, celebrate yourself, go out with a bang. And then we want to hear about it in 2026. We love you guys. So you guys just keep rocking on. We'll be back.
Yeah, keep rocking and keep being hot, you know?
Yeah, never stop being hot, baby. Don't stop being
Oh,
hot.
yeah.
We love you guys. We'll see you in 2026. Bye.
Okay, peace and blessings.